The rain that night was relentless, just like the storm brewing inside our home. I remember the exact moment everything shattered. Sarah walked in, her clothes soaked, her face a mask I no longer recognized. She'd been working late again, a phrase that had become a bitter taste on my tongue. For months, a quiet unease had settled in my heart, a tiny crack in the foundation of our 7-year marriage. Little things, you know? A phone call she'd take in the other room, a sudden need for privacy where there was once only openness. I tried to ignore it, telling myself I was being paranoid. Love, I thought, meant trust, but trust, I was about to learn, is a fragile thing. That night the lie was too big to hide. It wasn't just the late hour or the distant look in her eyes. It was the scent of a cologne that wasn't mine, clinging to her hair like a ghost. "Where were you, Sarah?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper, afraid of the answer I already knew. She flinched, and for a second, a flash of guilt crossed her face before the walls went up. "I told you, Mark, a late meeting. It was stressful." The words were automatic, rehearsed, but the tremor in her voice gave her away. The foundation of our life together didn't just crack, it crumbled into dust right there in our hallway. The argument that followed wasn't loud or explosive. It was quiet, suffocating. Each denial she offered was a shovel, digging the grave of our relationship a little deeper. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just hollow. I thought back to our wedding day, to the promises we made under that old oak tree. In sickness and in health, for richer or poorer. We never talked about what to do in the face of betrayal. We never imagined we'd have to. I had built my entire world around her, around the idea of us, and in one night I realized that world was a fantasy. The woman I loved, the life I thought we had, it was all built on a secret she had been keeping for months. She finally confessed, her words tumbling out between sobs. It was a co-worker. It just happened. It didn't mean anything, but it did. It meant everything. It meant every "I love you" she'd said for the past 6 months was a lie. It meant every shared laugh, every quiet moment, was tainted. How do you come back from that? How do you look at the person you've shared your soul with and see a stranger? I realized the person I was in love with didn't exist anymore, or perhaps she never had. The Sarah I knew wouldn't do this. This new Sarah was someone I couldn't trust, couldn't love. The silence after her confession was the loudest sound I'd ever heard. It was filled with unspoken questions and painful truths. I looked around our home, at the photos on the wall, us smiling on vacation, at Christmas, at family gatherings. They were like artifacts from a different lifetime. Each frame held a memory that was now poisoned. The love I felt hadn't vanished. It had mutated into a profound sense of loss. I wasn't just losing my wife. I was losing my best friend, my past, and the future I had so carefully planned. The betrayal wasn't just an act. It was an erasure of our shared history. I knew, with a certainty that chilled me to the bone, that this was the end. There was no negotiation, no therapy, no working through it that could mend this. The trust was gone, and without it, love is just a 4-letter word with no meaning. "I think you should pack a bag," I said, my voice steady for the first time that night. The words hung in the air, final and absolute. It wasn't a suggestion. It was a goodbye. A goodbye to the woman I thought I knew. A goodbye to the dreams we built together. And a goodbye to the man I was when I believed in them. Watching her pack was surreal. She moved through our bedroom, a room that had witnessed our most intimate moments, like a ghost. She grabbed clothes, toiletries, the superficial things. But the real things, the years of laughter, the shared secrets, the quiet comfort of knowing someone had your back, those couldn't be packed. They were just left behind, shattered on the floor. There were no more tears, no more pleas, just a heavy, resigned sadness. The storm outside had passed, leaving behind a cold, clear night. It was as if the world itself had exhaled, mirroring the emptiness inside me. When she walked out the door, she didn't look back. And in that moment, I felt a strange sense of peace. The pain was immense, a physical ache in my chest, but the uncertainty was gone. The lie was out, and the charade was over. One night, one secret, and one goodbye. That's all it took to end a love built on a foundation of lies. The road ahead was going to be long and difficult. I knew I had to rediscover who I was without her, to rebuild a life from the wreckage. But for the first time in months, I could breathe. I was no longer living in the shadow of a lie. This experience taught me a powerful lesson. Love cannot survive without honesty. Trust is not just a part of a relationship. It is the very air it breathes. When that air is poisoned by deceit, love suffocates. If you're going through something similar, please know that you are not alone. The pain of betrayal is deep, but it doesn't have to be the end of your story. It can be the beginning of a new chapter, one where you learn to value your own worth and build a future based on truth and self-respect. Seeking support from friends, family, or a professional can make all the difference. Remember, your healing is the priority. Thank you so much for listening to my story. It's not easy to share these moments, but I hope that by doing so, it might help someone else feel less alone in their struggle. If this resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories about navigating life's toughest challenges. Your support means the world. Stay strong and take care of yourselves.